Hi, this is David Dillard from Sleep and Sinus Centers of Georgia again. I was going to sit with you and talk to you a little bit about some of the um, environmental things that we can do to help ourselves if you have chronic allergies and or if you're in an environment that carries a lot of molds. So I'm going to give a phone call to a friend of mine who, um, ironically, you meet people in the strangest of ways, but I met him through my child's swim club. But he has about 36 years of experience doing um, house restorations after uh, water damage, and that's basically what he does for a living. So I'm going to call him, and we're going to chat a little bit about what you can do if you have an environment that has a ton of um, mold in the area, mold in the house, um, mold in the ducts, and we'll try and make this so that we can do this and talk about little uh, all the little minor details that go with this. But let's start today with what do you do about the ducts? So let's see if we can catch him here. So this is David Mason, and he's with Atlantic's Restoration Services, and you can find it at www.atlanticrestorationservices.com. Um, and hey, what's going on, Dave? Hey, so I'm here with, and we're doing this video, and we are. I'm gonna pop this up close enough to where we can actually pick up on this. But we're doing this video on everything allergies, and we wanted to talk a little bit about how to make your house more healthy. And
Right.
if you've got water chronically in the ducts, chronically having mold in the house, I've already told him that you've are with Atlantic Restoration Services and that you have been doing this about 36 years. So I'm going to let you talk a little bit about how we um, improve the amount of mold in the ducts in our house for the heating and air conditioning. So,
Well, first of all, it's important to understand that mold is everywhere. And the question in an indoor environment is not is there mold present, but does what we call a normal fungal ecology exist, a normal level of mold.
right,
And what we do generally to achieve that is we do an assessment of the HVAC system to make sure that the filtration is adequate. We need to make sure that the ductwork in the system itself is not a reservoir of moisture to have conditions present that would permit or foster the growth of mold, or more importantly, some types of bacteria such as Legionella or some other different organisms. It's important that the system is dry, that it's filtering properly, and the other thing that we check for is to make sure that the sizing of the system is not too large, because if the capacity of the system is too great for the space and it only comes on for a very short time and blasts cool air to achieve the set point, it does not accomplish two goals. It does not run long enough for the dehumidifying feature of the foil to achieve any removal of moisture. And number two, if the system doesn't run very often, the air isn't filtered very often.
right,
Because those are the things that we check for in an HVAC system. And
okay,
of course, if there's obviously any contaminants or any debris, any rodents or anything like that have breached the system, where there's holes in the ductwork, where air from a dirty crawl space or dirty attic is being introduced into the loop, those are things we check for as well.
okay. So if we're looking at this as someone who's trying to decide, what they're looking for in the house and how they determine to call someone like you. What sort of triggers can you tell these people about that they need to look for says, okay, it's time to call, or also some guidelines for how big the AC unit probably needs to be, so that fits to the layman, how long a day it should run, that sort of thing. Any sort of guidelines about how to call you or when they should call you?
Well, if you're in your home and you start to see a lot of dusty deposits or black staining on any of the registers, that's a problem.
And the registers are the
output
part of the air
Yeah.
conditioning.
where the cold air comes out, or the air goes back into the system, the returns, the supply ducts, or the return. Most homes have, residential systems have a large return duct near the unit.
Right.
So if you're starting to see dust or black staining, that's a problem. If you see water dripping, condensation on any of the duct covers, that's a problem.
Okay.
If you were to have your unit freeze up and continue to freeze up where it becomes frozen, and you have to shut the system down to thaw the coil, that's a sign that you've got problems. So I would say those three things would be a marker to know that you need professional attention.
Awesome. Any guideline for how big of a tonnage they have to have per square foot of the house in general?
Well, you would need to have an engineer do a calculation on that. I'm not qualified to do that because just a simple ratio of BTU to square foot would not be adequate because insulation makes a difference, the number of windows makes a difference. Does the space face the south, north? Does it get a lot of sun? Does it get a lot of wind? Is it shaded? There's so many factors that it really needs to be calculated by a thermal engineer.
Awesome. Dave, I appreciate you talking with us, and we'll have you back again real soon. If you want to reach David, you can, probably the easiest way to catch him is at health@dryout911.com.
Or they can call me on my cell phone directly at 404-788-9000.
Awesome. All right, Dave, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I hope that was helpful.
Great. Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye. So as always, we hope this is helpful, and you'll excuse the video quality, but we'll see you soon.